Hello, my gamers. This right here, as you guys may not have just realized, I'm pointing with my left hand, but I'm not left-handed. That is because I have injured my middle finger on my right hand, and as some of you may or may not have noticed, I am right-handed. I draw with my right hand. I write with my right hand. I do everything with my right hand, so everything is very difficult right now. If you guys are wondering what this liquid is, it's nothing much. It's really just water, and I added some hydrogen peroxide. I don't know if that's something I shouldn't have done, but I don't really care. I'm being completely honest. Hopefully it'll kinda disinfect, but not have a big impact on it. So I just want to say that I'm probably not gonna be, I should go back to the thing I was saying before I told you guys what was wrong with me. But this right here is my OC Tiger Eye. I drew her in a slightly different style where everything is smooth, because I realized after doing my yellow Jasper that was an amazing looking piece of art. So I just kind of transferred that and put it here, and so yeah. So basically this stripe right here, this is going to be, I think I'm going to have it as the black stripe. And then this one right here is the red stripe. So this little bit right there, that's kind of just skin. So, you know, if y'all are thinking that there's another color going in there, nah. So I basically am drawing her if someone tore off her mask and she ain't happy about it. And as I have promised you guys since the beginning, I'm finally going to tell you guys her backstory. And warning, it has some abuse and other not so nice things. Gotta be honest, like, I kinda wanna say it's like Angel Dust's story. If y'all know what I'm talking about. The Addict music video that came out, that is sort of like Angel Dust's story once he got into hell. So it's kind of that, you know, she kind of neglected herself, so I would probably be a little bit better at explaining this, but I can't access my Wattpad, which is where I have one of my drafts. The reason being is because that is on this iPad. The iPad that I am recording this video on is the same one that has my Wattpad. So I can't get onto it. And I would gladly record the video on my other iPad, but that thing, it's old and kind of needs to be replaced because you do literally anything and it's like, oh yeah, nah, that took up every tiny bit of space that we have left. and then you can't do anything else. Record 1 2-minute video, and it's like, alright, you have no more space left. So yeah. Also, I am going to, you know what, I'll ask my second question at the end of the video. So I'm basically just gonna kind of give the short version of her backstory. And kind of, the way that I'm going to say her story is gonna kind of be a bit weird, because I'm doing it sort of as a, oh yeah, this was her backstory, summarizing it, but at the same time I'm kind of doing it in a third person, and this happened, and she was so sad, nobody loved her, you know, something like, sort of like that. So yeah. So when she was born, I'm going to put her birthday at May 30th, 2005. Just a random day. Totally unrelated to my own birthday, you know. I'm lying. That May 30th is my birthday, but I ain't saying when, like, the year I was born in, because I ain't gonna share that much personal info. But when she was born, for the most part, everything was fine. I mean, her mom was a little upset because she wanted to have a boy, but for the most part, her mom was fine with it. Her dad was working, he worked a lot. Her mom had more of a at-home job, which, I mean, I say that so that it goes a little better with the story. But after the age of 3, her mom would get upset with her. Like, she would accidentally knock over things because, you know, she wasn't as graceful as she is at modern day, you know. So her mom would get mad at her, yell at her, and send her to her room. I mean, she didn't really understand why at the time. And everything was fine until 2 years later. I want to say she started going to school, but I don't know when I went to school. I'm trying to think. I think I might have gone to school at maybe the age of, now think of it, it might have been the age of 5. That's but she, unlike most people, you guys have kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Much like me, well, where I went to school, which is sort of like where she went to school, we had kindergarten, or we had pre-K. Sorry. Some of you may know it as TK, I think. I think it's TK. I'm not entirely sure. But uh, when she was in pre-K, uh, she would often be left behind. So most days, she would walk home. Not much after, I'm going to say about the age of, you know what, I'm skipping too much. And around that time, that's when her older brother and her only brother, same person, they got into being part of a gang. I know it's a cliche. And her mother started drinking alcohol due to stress of having to deal with these two children. Unfortunately, her father was not around much, but he still, like, when he would come home, even if it was late at night, he would always check in on her. And, you know, because, you know, she was kind of daddy's angel, I guess. Her mother also kind of did, like, it was sort of a secret to the father, but she did, like, online drug dealing type of stuff. And when all this started happening, she started getting, beaten and abused at home. So, at first, it was, you know, kind of what people would consider average, like, discipline, you know. Then it started getting more severe as her mother started getting into drugs and stuff, and her father got a promotion which caused him not to be around less. So oftentimes he would come home at 11, 12 o'clock at night. And he would often be very tired as he had to go to work at about like 6 and sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning. So he didn't get much sleep. And sometimes would forget to check up on her. And her mother and brother kind of took that to their advantage and abused her more and made her, like, scarred her and made worse wounds. Of course, when the few times that he could go home early and on Saturdays, which was his day off, whenever he would see her bruised and everything, he was concerned. But she always told him that she had fallen down or she had accidentally hurt herself, because her mother and brother told her that she would be beaten more if she had told him. So she was forced to keep it a secret. Um, Time skip forward to the age of 8. So she's being abused worse than ever. So before it was normal, then and it got worse. At first she was beaten with a belt and, sometimes a stick and whatnot. Then it became more harming. She was harmed with broken bottles, bats, even knives sometimes. And at this time, the mother tried to include include her in what she was doing. And sometimes she would have her go out and deliver the drugs. And of course, the business sometimes had little rough parts, and she would force her daughter, the mother would force her to sometimes hurting or killing people. And she couldn't refuse, because if she did, the mother told her that she would take her life. So she was blackmailed into hurting others, which was something that she didn't want to do. At the age of 10, her mother finally got tired of what was going on, and how her father always loved her and now would never speak of anything else. So, while she was in the room, the mother killed the father, which completely broke her. She was beaten for only a few months, but at that point, she was kind of numb to all of the pain. Which is kind of another cliche of, oh, now I can't feel physical pain anymore. I mean, it's sort of something that makes her slightly unique in the creepypasta universe. Other than Tiki Toby has that same thing where he can't feel pain. But hers was due to the fact that she had felt it so often that she was fine with she wasn't fine with it, but for the most part, she just couldn't feel it. She didn't care. And that's when she lost her spark in her eye. Or her will to live, her want to live. Of course, what was going on at school, she found out that she was lesbian, bisexual. I can't exactly decide yet. I want to say she's lesbian. And she had started dating this girl who claimed to also be lesbian, but soon figured out that the girl was only using her to get back at a guy. So then at school, she was just kind of an outcast. At that point, she had kind of started to isolate herself she didn't talk often, and she would kind of starve herself for several days at a time. So she began becoming very thin and not exactly weak, but just thin. Somehow she managed to stay alive, which at the time she didn't know this, but she had a demon who kind of watched over her, which isn't something that's common. We usually know of guardian angels, but she had more of a guardian demon. So he would make it to where she had the nutrients and whatnot so she could keep living. I want to say it's because the demon, who I'm now going to refer as Dark, had he had something similar happen to him before he died. His story will be later on, in another video. I'm also going to do a drawing of him. So, then towards the end of the year of at the end of when she was 10, she was sold off to men for sexual purposes. And the first guy kind of made it to where she can't have babies, as he only wanted her to be a toy. And then he sold her to someone else, and that was kind of a thing. She just was used. And of course that broke her even farther. The last guy who had her, and she is now 15, the last guy who had her then sold her to some scientists who were doing human animal hybrid experiments. And that's how she got the ears and the pupil changed. She first got a human feline DNA little mixture. So she had that going for her. That gave her the ability to run faster, her wounds healed quicker, and she could see in the dark and hear a little farther than humans could. One day she snapped, and she just couldn't stand the experiments that these scientists were doing to her. She didn't want to be there, and no matter what, no one listened to her, because to them, she was just a thing. She was just an experiment, a subject. So, she broke free. I forgot to mention that it makes her a little stronger than most humans. But she broke free, and while escaping, she murdered several scientists. So after that point, once she was free, of course, she didn't know where to go. And so, basically, the only place that she could ever think of going back to was her house. Of course, her mother was in the kitchen cooking for her brother and saw her coming up the driveway. The mother then alerted the brother what was happening and found and told him that they were going to get rid of her once and for all. When she came in, the mother pretended to greet her with open arms, apologizing, telling her she had been wrong about everything. But of course, it was all a lie, an act. And her mother and her brother ended up killing her because and the way she died was two stab wounds to the heart. One from the front and one from the back. Her mother's was the one from the back, and her brother's was the one from the front, as they had both pretended to give her a hug. Then she went to hell because of what happened. And so that's kind of just the first part of her life. Like, kind of birth to mid-teens. So I'm going to do the part after that in the next video, which will hopefully also be the completion of the drawing and the coloring. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, the promised video that I have told you guys I would make for so long. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below whether you liked it or not, whether you think my character is kinda not overpowered, but more like, way too abused. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.